Hi everyone. As you already know by now, I'm Milton. I'll continue with my story once again, but before that, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as a way of showing your support to me. So, let's get started now. If you remember in my last video, I mentioned that Melissa needed my help with a fake boyfriend. Things got pretty awkward when she told me that I was the only guy she knew. I mean, I wasn't really expecting that. I thought that after breaking up with me, she would have dated someone, but I guess not. It's understandable given how controlling her brother James is, and how he's literally trying to force her into a marriage that she doesn't want. I decided to ask Raymond for help. He was best suited for such things, after all, and he had experience, so... What the? Are you freaking serious? Raymond yelled when I told him everything. I nodded calmly. Come on, Melissa will pay you a good amount of money. But still, he trailed off, scratching his neck. You know your crazy sister has been waiting for an opportunity to get a hold of me after the interview I gave? Don't worry, I'll pick you up and drop you there myself. I'll be watching you guys from a different table, I replied. Raymond made a face. Man, you are quite creepy. Does it run in the blood of your family? I chuckled. You really don't know my sisters properly, do you? This is not even close to creepy. A long time ago, Natalie drugged me so that she could steal my credit card and run away. Dang, what did you do then? I shrugged. I'd secretly set up cameras to record everything. But then, Natalie said something to me. I don't know. I changed my mind like an idiot. I decided to let them be and move on. I didn't expect you to be so dumb. Raymond shook his head. I sighed. I know, I've done some things that I'm really not proud of. Don't you still have those recordings? I shook my head. I got rid of them in order to move on from my past. But yeah, that was an incredibly stupid move. Raymond started laughing. I can't believe you. You're really naive back then to forgive your sisters like that. I mean, they're literally the spawns of the devil. Just how much of an idiot were you back then? I glared at him. Let's not dig up the past now. Did you get the plan for tomorrow? He smiled. Yup, of course. I'll be ready at 8 p.m. So, the next day I picked up Raymond from his place, and we drove to the restaurant that Melissa had mentioned. As soon as we were there, I put on my cap and hoodie to disguise myself and wished good luck to Raymond. I waited for a few minutes after he went in. Finally, I got out of the car and entered the restaurant. Quickly, I occupied a corner table that was within the hearing range of the table where Melissa and Raymond were sitting. From the looks of it, they were still waiting for Cole, the guy who Melissa was supposed to marry. As if on cue, a tall guy walked in and greeted Melissa. He frowned at Raymond, but shook hands with him nonetheless. Cole, meet Raymond. He's my boyfriend. Melissa started hesitantly. I almost face-palmed. She was making it too obvious that she was lying. Thank God for Raymond, who came to the rescue. Yeah, so Melissa told me everything, Raymond said to Cole. Look, we like each other a lot, so if you would be so kind as to break off whatever deal you made. I can't, Cole replied. It doesn't matter if Melissa likes someone else. The marriage will still happen. What? Why? Raymond threw up his hands in exasperation. Cole shrugged. It's a business deal. I'm helping James with his election campaign by giving him a lot of money. And, in return, we are becoming in-laws, and he can easily help me in the future when he wins the election. Now, that was one heck of a crappy deal. Not to mention, Cole didn't seem like a good person at all. And clearly he had no intention of backing off. You can continue dating Melissa, but this marriage will happen, Cole declared, pinning Raymond with a cold look. Uh-oh. This was not going according to the plan. I guess I underestimated this Cole guy. I had done some research on him, and now I could see why he was so adamant. He had established a large business empire through means of fraud, and in recent times, all his wrongdoings were coming into light. That's why he wanted someone influential by his side. Someone like James, who could help him bury everything. But James was powerless till he won the election, and I had no intention of letting him win. I clenched my fists. There was only one thing I could do now. I got up from my seat and walked to Melissa's table. Melissa and Raymond gasped while Cole raised an eyebrow at me. Hi, I'm Milton. I introduced myself to Cole. He suddenly straightened up. Milton? That's Milton? What do you mean by that, Milton? Raymond asked in confusion. The one who's always on the news, Cole continued. I've heard a lot about you. I smiled. Yes, I am that Milton. I'm sorry, but I accidentally overheard your conversation. I couldn't help intervening. Cole's eyes widened. Why? Is something wrong? I heard that you know James. Well, I'm competing against him in the upcoming elections, and... Wait, what? Cole exclaimed, cutting me off. James is going against you? What the heck? He told me his opponent was weak! He doesn't stand a chance against someone like you! Well, look at that, Raymond commented dryly. Aren't you Milton's fanboy? Cole's face turned red and he didn't say anything. I couldn't help chuckling. I'm glad that you think that I have a chance of winning, Cole. That is why I have a proposition for you. Cole's eyes widened again. Me? I nodded. Instead of James, make a deal with me. I won't ask you for money, since I already have that, but you have to cut off whatever financial support you are giving to James. But he promised to help me if he wins. Who do you think has a higher chance of winning, me or James? I asked him seriously. Of course you, he quickly replied. I didn't even know that you were competing for the elections. So then, if I win, I'll help you with the troubles you're facing in your business. But what's the guarantee? He asked, turning to face Melissa. James and I were going to become in-laws, so it was guaranteed that he wouldn't break his promise to me. Ugh, disgusting. James was using Melissa as a tool, just so he could extract money out of this guy. I pondered over the matter for a bit. What could I possibly offer to this guy as a guarantee? Our Milton has pretty sisters, too, Raymond suddenly said. My head snapped towards him. What? Don't you have two beautiful sisters who are always on the lookout for handsome, rich guys? Raymond clarified. I think they'll like Cole a lot. One of them can even marry him. That would be enough as a guarantee, right? Okay, wow. Raymond was a genius. If Natalie or Penny married Cole, then that would mean getting rid of them forever. And I didn't care about them, so I wouldn't be obliged to help Cole with his illegal stuff after winning the elections. They could go homeless and sleep on the sidewalks for all I cared. And my sisters were obviously going to take the bait. Because, as Raymond said, they were always on the lookout for handsome, rich praise. Aha, he is right, I said. Cole, you should meet my sisters. You'll like them. But I've heard that your relationship with your sisters is not very good, Cole asked in confusion. I shook my head. Actually, it's very good. The media keeps distorting the facts to ruin my family image. If you don't believe me, we can arrange a meeting with my sisters together. Ha! If I told Natalie and Penny about Cole, they would lick my feet if they had to in order to get close to him. So, pretending like we were a happy family was nothing. Things sure were going to get complicated, but at the same time, they were going to fall into place, too. After we got out of the restaurant, Melissa grabbed my hand. You know, Natalie and Penny already know who Cole is, she said. In fact, they would have gone after him if James hadn't stopped them. That makes things easier for us, then, since they already like Cole. It does, but, they kind of... I don't know how to say this, but there used to be some tension between them whenever Cole's topic was brought up. Okay, what? Tension between Natalie and Penny? That was unheard of. I think both of them like him and were competing over him, Melissa continued. So it can get quite ugly when they meet him in person. I smirked. That's even better. Now, this was my chance to turn Natalie and Penny against each other. After all, it was high time that they separated. It would be easier to deal with them individually. I felt like I had just hit a jackpot in the form of Cole. Now, all that was left to do was give the good news to my dear sisters. Hey everyone, it's Milton again. This episode is going to be about Natalie and Penny meeting Cole. Obviously, the meeting didn't quite go as I had expected. Now, whether it was good or bad, you can judge by the end. before we get into the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for showing your support to me. So let's get started with my story now. The first torture that I had to go through was inviting Natalie and Penny to my place. Thank God Raymond agreed to distract Beth and keep her away for the meantime. I wasn't going to let Beth in on my plans anymore. She already knew too much and had done irreversible damage. "You've got a pretty fancy place, brother," Natalie remarked, glancing around the house. "Were you hiding this from us all the time?" Well, it was technically Beth's place. I had already bought my own house secretly in a different location, but I would die before letting Natalie or others step in there. It was better to use Beth's place to carry out my plans. "You have some nerve calling us here after sending away our old parents." Penny glared at me. "Do you even feel ashamed about your actions?" I snorted. "Right, the old parents who went around spreading lies about me. Do you really think I give a crap about any of you?" "I knew it! You are nothing but a two-faced jerk!" Natalie yelled. "You pretend to be nice in front of everyone, when in reality, you're worse than us." I crossed my arms across my chest and leaned back on the sofa. "I don't have time to listen to you spouting nonsense. I called you for something that might interest you. I suppose you already know who Cole is?" Their eyes widened as they glanced at each other uneasily. "Cole? Are you talking about Melissa's fiancé?" Natalie asked. "Well, he's not her fiancé anymore. They broke off their engagement," I replied. Penny stood up from her place in shock. "What? For real? When? Are you lying to us?" "Jeez, why are you getting so worked up over this?" I frowned. "And what would I get from lying about this? I offered Cole a better deal than James, so he agreed to do as I say." "What the heck did you offer him that made him agree to that?" Natalie asked. I shrugged. "We met by chance, and he found out that I'm competing in the upcoming elections. He believes that my chances of winning are more than that of James, so he came over to my side." "Wow, that dang ungrateful and disloyal brat," Penny muttered. "Hey, Penny, if you're going to say such things about Cole, then I think you should leave now," I started slowly. "I thought the two of you would be interested in meeting him. That's why I called you here. But if you don't want to, then you can leave." "Whoa, what?" Natalie exclaimed. "You want us to meet Cole? Are you serious?" "Yeah, I promised to introduce him to you two, since he wanted a guarantee that I will uphold my end of the deal. Of course, if you don't like this, then—" "No, I'll meet him," Natalie quickly cut in, then turned to Penny. "Penny, you can leave. I'll take care of this." "What? Why should I leave?" Penny protested. "Do you want to meet him all by yourself? How can you be so selfish?" So, it seems like what Melissa said was true. Both of them wanted Cole. Finally, something that could be their potential weakness. But then again, they were big players. They went to any guy who was rich and good-looking. Ugh, disgusting. Who's to say that they would not ditch Cole later? Whatever. I only needed it to last long enough for the elections to be over. They could do whatever they wanted after that. I intervened before Natalie and Penny's argument could get bigger, and told them to visit Cole's place the next day. It was where we had all agreed to meet. But I soon started regretting my decision when Natalie and Penny literally started drooling after seeing Cole's mansion. "Please get your acts together and stop embarrassing me," I almost pleaded them. "We're just appreciating good things. Mind your own business," Natalie retorted. Cole came out to welcome us and saw us arguing. I quickly shut my mouth, but Natalie kept going. "Seriously, even after all these years, you're a pest, Milton," she cackled like a witch. "Why do you still bother?" I cleared my throat and tilted my head in Cole's direction to give her a signal. But her dumb brain couldn't process it, and she still didn't notice him. She went as far as to grab my hand and pull me close. I swear I almost shrieked when she touched me. "Could it be that you just want my attention, Milton?" She smirked. "You know, I'm always here for you. Just say one word." She was acting up again. I shoved her away and dusted off my clothes. "Get your germs away from me," I exclaimed in disgust. Penny was quick to seize the opportunity. She walked up to Cole and greeted him. My sister has always been interested in Milton, so I think there's no use even meeting her, she said to Cole. Natalie's eyes widened when she realized the whole situation, and quickly she pushed Penny out of the way and placed a hand on Cole's shoulder. No, it's not like that, she rushed to explain. Milton and I are so close that we just like teasing each other from time to time. I was trying to gross him out. You know how siblings are. Huh, siblings. As if. Okay, sure, Cole replied in a daze. Please, come inside. We followed him in. I already had a headache from everything. I was sure that Natalie was going to make a mess of this meeting. Cole seemed to be a bit slow at catching things, so I was hoping he wouldn't notice anything odd. We had to put on a show of the perfect family in front of him, and get him interested in one of my sisters. I have always admired you, Cole. I can't believe I'm finally meeting you. Your home is so nice, too, Natalie said, clasping her hands like a fangirl. Penny snorted. Oh, please, just 2 days ago you didn't even know his name properly. You used to call him Cedric. Natalie glared at her. Did anyone ask you? Just because you can't compare to me, don't try to meddle. You should know your place. Oh yeah? And what is my place? Your sidekick? Penny fired back. Perfect. The only thing missing was popcorn. They were bringing about their own ruin, and nothing in this world can compare to the satisfaction I got from that. I felt kinda bad for Cole, though. Poor guy seemed lost in my sister's quarrel. A servant placed some snacks in front of us, and Natalie swept them away before anyone could even touch them. Wow, were you that hungry? I muttered. Please bring some special snacks for Milton, Cole told his servant. What? I'm not the best judge of people, so I'll ask you. Cole started, meeting my eyes. Who do you think is the better match for me? Natalie or Penny? What? Why was he asking that to me? Did he want me to die at the hands of my sisters? If I chose one of them, the other would hunt me down and make my life a greater nightmare than it already was. Both Natalie and Penny immediately grabbed my arms and started yelling in my ears. Ugh, at this rate, they're going to break all of my bones. Looks like it's a tough choice, Cole said over all the chatter, making everyone go quiet. I nodded tiredly. I can't choose one of my sisters for you. It's your life. Your choice. Don't put me in this position. Then I'll make things easier for you, he said, leaning forward. As a matter of fact, I don't like either of them. Oh crap, where was this going? Natalie and Penny were frozen to their spots. But after some research, I found out that you have a third sister named Tina, Cole continued. It seems like she was away from her family all these years for her studies. I want to choose Tina. Dread settled in my stomach. How did he find out about Tina, and who told him that he could have her? What? You want Tina? Natalie fumed. She's a super boring granny who's good for nothing. Why would you choose her over us? Cole shrugged. I prefer boring over noisy people like you two, and as far as I know, she's younger than you. If she's a granny, then what does that make you? I had underestimated Cole. Why did I ever say that he was slow? My words were coming to bite me back now. Milton, you look like you've seen a ghost, Cole said, giving me a look of concern. It was fake. His expressions were fake. You don't have to worry about contacting Tina, he continued. I've already taken care of it. In fact, it's almost time. He glanced towards the front door. I turned towards the door with my heart racing abnormally. And seconds later, I was faced with a very horrified-looking Tina. She started crying when her eyes landed on me. Milton, I was scared. What is happening? She sobbed, running to hug me. Just what did they do to Tina?